All right, so yeah, this music is not mine. Okay, this music is not mine. I don't have rights to this music, but this music is by a group from Zimbabwe. Okay, they called Voice in the Wilderness. All right, yeah. So we grew up listening to this group. Yeah, you can be blessed. If you think you like their music, get in touch with them, or just ask me, and then I will um, connect you. Okay. Yes, they people from our wood back home. Okay, so it's good. Promote business. All right. Business. But it's either way. Okay, we need to support our local groups. Um, yeah, support them in their programs. Get their music heard out there, far and wide. Okay, so that's the story. Um, I was thinking today. Um, I brought my fellas here. Okay, brought a group of guys. These are guys from back as way back as in 1840. Okay, way back as 1840. So these are the gentlemen you can see on the screen. Yeah, yes, these are the pioneers of the Advent movement. Okay, so we're gonna have a good discussion tonight. Yeah, I'm just waiting for one or two to come. I'm asking my brother if there's anybody. Not yet. All right, so let's have them finish their song. Okay, we'll have them finish their song and then we will begin. We will begin. It's a bit audacious, I think, for me to stand on this ground. It's a bit, should I say, courageous, okay, to stand in this position, because I'm telling you, by all means, this is the discussion which is done with and buried in the institution, okay? We don't discuss this as Seventh-day Adventist. It's a subject deemed as if it was done with. It's complete. We don't revisit it. Anyway, anyhow, by no means are you supposed to go back to this. Okay, so it's a bit audacious on my side. Okay, so I think I would say thank you to Voice in the Wilderness for what they gave us. Yeah, so I was saying it's a bit audacious. So it's a bit radical to bring this subject again. I know most of the preachers or the pastors, the ministers can brush this off and say, bro, we cannot discuss this. All angles have been exhausted in the seminaries, in by scholars, people who are well respected. But let me say, the vision of Daniel chapter 8 was meant to be understood as Daniel was told in Daniel chapter 8, verse 25, verse 25, 26, as Daniel was told in verse 26 that go your way, Daniel, all right? This is not for you or for your time, but it's for those who will live in that time. Daniel 12 also, I think verse 11, 10 and 11. This is for those who are going to live in the time of the end. They shall understand this prophecy. It is for them to understand. So I know we want to say that 1844, the period 1840 to 1844 marked this thing that we have believed. We want to say that it concluded, but let's be fair with the discussion. Let's be fair with the book of Daniel. 1844 cannot be the beginning of the time of the end. The time has been too long, gentlemen. Okay, the time has been too long, if I should say. This is more than 175 years, more than 175 years, and we still claim that the time of the end began 1844. I think to many, this statement has been a means by which we shut up those who might want to come with suggestions, those who might appear to be undoubted, and tell them, please go and sleep, okay? We're not going to discuss time anymore. It seems as if the dark cloud that hung around the sunset of October 23, 1844, it seemed as if that dark cloud still haunts the church today. The church today, Seventh-day Adventist, when I'm discussing this, they are haunted by the great disappointment of 1844, 22 October. As much as the pioneers were haunted with the experience, how they proved to be untrue, how the account of studying the Bible had proven to be untrue to the world out there. They had set up a system, a mechanism by argument that protects the image of those who moved on from 1844 into the new era of 1844-23 October. Those who wanted to continue in the faith and yet preserve an image, an identity, or a dignity that they were students of the Bible. So I want to be fair with the book of Daniel, and I'm saying the book of Daniel, the prophecy of unto 2,300 days have been misunderstood. It has been misunderstood, and hence it has been the reason by which all of us has given to this fear, has given to this weak point, or should I say a weak theology of the 2,300 days, and we have given to that and we have protected it, that it is untouchable. You cannot discuss it, you cannot say anything else. But I would take the courage, I would take the inspiration from the apostles. Okay, if any doctrine, if it be true, it should be investigated. Okay, if any doctrine, if any spirit that speaketh is true, even whether it is false, let it be investigated and it be found and proven to be true or not. I will also take from the pen of inspiration Ellen White. She also goes on to say that the fact that we have believed in a doctrine for such a long time is not a reason to justify, neither is it a reason to make a belief or a doctrine untouchable or to have stamped it as being truth. After all, it is not time that determines whether a doctrine or belief is true or not. It is not time, but it is investigation of such through the word of God. And this is what I'm going to do this evening. I'm going to revisit again the issue of the unto 2,300 days. What was the problem? I am of the idea that the pioneers, this gentleman that you see on the screen, these gentlemen were right and correct in their conclusion or their expectation at the end of the 2,300 days and nights. They were correct by that. I strongly believe they were. The expectation or the event expected at the end of this 2,300, their expectation was correct, even though in some manner I would want to space or bring a clarity of what exactly happens in the end. Okay, they were on point. The 2,300 days, when it hits the mark or when it is set up, when it reaches its time, when it has come to fulfillment, what happens? The end of the time shall begin. The end of times shall begin. So let's jump. I have come with a big question. Okay, I've termed it the big question. When do the 2,300 days begin and end? Yes, an audacious report. All right, so I hope you're with me so that we can go into this understanding. So I'm gonna jump from here. Okay. The big question, when does the 2,300 days begin? The pioneers believed that it started in 457 BC, where the decree was given by Artaxerxes to rebuild Jerusalem. And the reference to this, you find it in chapter 9 of Daniel. Daniel chapter 9, you find this, that from the beginning of the time to rebuild Jerusalem, so shall be the counting of the 70 weeks. However, William Miller and the pioneers, having failed to comprehend what was happening in chapter 8, they concluded that Daniel did not understand the vision. So he had to go to chapter 9, and they went to chapter 9, verse 22, 23 to say that when Gabriel had arrived, he said, I have come to give thee wisdom and understanding. That pertained or referred to the vision of Daniel chapter 8. So I'm not going to take my time on this, but then I did a video before which I said mystery 8x9. You can watch it later on, but in that presentation, I was trying to prove or to show that between the chapter 8 of Daniel and chapter 9 of Daniel, you should insert chapter 10 of Daniel. Okay, these two chapters, chapter 8 and chapter 9, are separated by chapter 10. I give in that presentation full evidence. I present all the history to prove that between chapter 8 and chapter 9 is chapter 10. It makes sense because when you read chapter 10, verse 1, it says, pertaining the vision that was given to Daniel, that vision was very, very long, and he understood the vision. And he understood the vision, which thing many pioneers, even the church today, still perpetrate to say that he didn't understand. He understood. If you put chapter 10, which is a correct sequence of events, it says that he did understand. And rightly, when you go to chapter 9, where Gabriel says that I've come to give you wisdom and understanding of the vision that was given. If you go back into chapter 10, I think from verse 14, you will find that there was a vision that Daniel had. But the vision is not described, is not explained. Only Gabriel, what he did, he gave the title of the vision. And he said, the vision pertains your people and their time, which is precisely what Gabriel discusses in Daniel chapter 9. I have come to give the wisdom. Okay, for 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, upon the holy city, and upon the sanctuary of God. So it is precise in what is to be discussed or be found in chapter 9 and in chapter 8. Instead, chapter 10 in between, we solve the equation. So the premise that I'm using in this discussion is that Daniel understood Daniel chapter 8, and there is no need for us to go to chapter 9 to borrow 457 BC, because that is one which pertains to the 70 weeks, and it came and it passed. It was true in the way that it should be understood. All right? So I want to differ in the time of understanding and the time of beginning the counting of Daniel chapter 8 unto 2,300 days. And I strongly believe that Gabriel did give us the starting point. Come with me. Okay? All right. So This is what I discussed last presentations when I was doing the little horn. Okay, when I was saying that the little horn, it has to come out of the four generals of Alexander. And we cannot discuss north, south, east, and west. The idea to discuss north, south, east, and west is a mischievous concept that seeks to delay the onset of the presence of the little horn in the time of history, is understood by those who read the book and by the students who visit the universities, the seminaries, the colleges. It is a mischievous endeavor, that it is the greatest betrayal that has happened to bring an explanation on top of another explanation. Gabriel gave an explanation. In that explanation is Gabriel gave. He doesn't discuss the issue of geographical origin of the little horn. He doesn't, but he discusses the time frame from whence he has to begin. So you going back and saying out of one of them, it is grammatically, you want to say masculine, feminine, what, and what not. That is a wrong approach to the vision of Daniel chapter 8. Not that a wrong, it's a mischievous. It is an exercise that have been carried to hide the truth. If the church would argue from the point that the little horn begins or it starts from the four generals, definitely we will have a different understanding of 1844. Okay, so I have the questions, so follow with me. It will make sense as we go on. Okay, so out of one of them, this is out of the four generals. Okay, so as I discussed last week, when it should begin, okay, we have Daniel chapter 8, verse 23. This is the verse that I wish we can break it down. I think let me, excuse me on this one. Let me go back to my Bible. All right, let's break this. Okay. All right, I can leave it if you can see that. All right, so I have reread it. I've reread the verse. I have rephrased it using the same meanings. The words which were originally used in Hebrew are the words that I Hebrew, or some they would say no, it wasn't Hebrew, it was a dialect of Hebrew. Okay, whatever that was used. Okay, the original one, I've used the nearest words, okay, which mean the same as the one you find popularly in your King James Version. Okay, so it would read like this, Daniel chapter 8, verse 23, and the latter time of their kingdom. So these are the four generals. If you're reading from verse 22, these are the four horns, which we agreed that they're the four generals of Alexander the Great. In the latter time of their kingdom, when their revolts, their struggles between one another are come to an end. When the revolts among them, the four generals, are come to an end, a king of fierce countenance, understanding dark sentences, okay, I think all right, let me just go back to the Old Testament, Daniel chapter 8, verse 23. Okay, so the original will be saying that, okay, and understanding dark sentences, standing is not there. My bad. Okay, so that would be at the end of these generals, still in their kingdom, the 4 of them, okay, at the end of their revolts, their fights between one another, how do those fights end? When 3 of them are uprooted, okay, when 3 of them are uprooted at one go, then we have the marker for the king of fierce countenance. Yep, this is the image. When 3 are uprooted, which figure we can borrow from chapter 7, just for relevance. When 3 are uprooted, okay, when 3 are uprooted, from that moment, we can begin to count the little horn's presence. And actually, listen to this. He says, a king understanding dark sentences shall stand up. It's not like he was not there. He was there, sitting. This is one thing that I liked when I was going through this. He was there, sitting as if he wasn't seeing things. This is why Rome doesn't fit in this story, okay? He was there all along. But what does he do? He stands up at this moment. Is the same question or is the same scenario in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1? Luke chapter 12, verse 1, when Michael stands up for his people. Listen to this. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. So the issue of Michael standing up, okay, cannot be confused by an earthly system, okay, being accorded or being said to have come into play, all right? The same thing as we have in chapter 8, verse 23. And a king of fierce countenance who understands dark sentences shall stand up. What shall he stand up to do? Verse 24, it will tell you what he will be doing. So you'll find that this one is not an earthly king. It's a king who is the devil himself. But we are given the time for him to operate. And how it makes sense when the apostle says that even he, the man, Paul, how does he phrase? He says the man of sin, even now he is working amongst us. He is to stand, but even by now as I speak, he is in action, doing his thing. So when he says that he shall stand up, it's a specific relevance or it is an issue of time. How he stood up, physically or not, spiritually, or how we might not know. But the issue for us to understand is that that is a time when three generals are taken down at the same time. That is a marker or a time for the beginning of the time to count the activities of the little horn. Okay, so we have some who say now they want to argue and appear very scholastic or scholarly. Then they say, no, brother, the vision was the vision, the time frame was for the vision, okay, the daily and the transgression of dissolution. So they say you cannot limit it to the daily and the transgression of dissolution, which are the activities of the little horn. You cannot limit to that. You have to begin with the vision, the whole of the vision. And this is where I come up with a question. If you want to deal with the whole of the vision, why doesn't the 2,300 days, why doesn't it begin with 539 BC? Because that's when the Medes and the Persians began to rule over Babylon, or when they took over from Babylon. They came into place exactly to say 539 BC. If you want to show that you are being scholarly and you want to include the vision, the daily, and the transgression of dissolution, why don't you start your counting from 539, or you just being argumentative so that you push this idea away, or you preserve the sanctity around 457 BC? I'm not going to do that. The truth is that the question, the vision, and you find this in Hebraic writing, they will give the summary, or the children of Israel. Okay, then they will say that the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Reuben. Okay, they do not mean the other 10 tribes, but they begin to say they are of the children of Israel, but specifically what we want to discuss are Reuben and Judah. It is there. I have examples, but I just didn't bring them, but it is there. If you want, for argument's sake, you want me to show you, come to my inbox, or later we can chat on this, okay? I'll show you in the Hebraic writing how they put a summary first, and then they go on to break down the sentence. This is what exactly happened here, where it says that the vision, and then of the vision, he specifies what he wants: the daily and the transgression of dissolution, which things were being perpetrated by the little horn. And judgment will not come on the actions, but it comes on the one who perpetrated those things. This is why we would want to start counting with the little horn. Okay, if you understand now verse 23, this becomes clear. Verse 23 being broken down, what it means and implies is that when their civil or their revolts, the rebellion between one another, these 4 generals, when it comes to an end, how is it going to come to an end? 3 shall be uprooted, and 1 shall remain, and out of the one that remains shall be the beginning of counting for the time of the 2,300 days. Just another point to highlight. If Alexander the Great is the king of the Greece, or the he god, the notable horn that grew great, okay? If he was the one, how is it that Alexander died in 321, and we want to count the activities of the little horn which came out of the 4 generals? Why would we want to count prior, before Alexander himself? Why would you want to do that? The time for calculating the activities of the little horn should come after the death of Alexander the Great. Wherever we find a plot or a slot with the generals, there should be the slot for us to begin counting unto 2,300 days. Fair and fine? Do I satisfy your questions? Yes, exactly. I mean, those who went to school, to theology. Do I satisfy your question? Do my questions over your suggestions show you your hypocrisy, or you're trying to be clever when Gabriel didn't discuss that? Okay, he has a time frame, and the book of Daniel chapter 10 has shown us that Daniel did understand. So we are trying to scratch and understand, what did he understand? Specifically about time. Did he understand anything? Good. So my studies which I have gone, which can be proven wrong by somebody out there who is genuinely seeking to find understanding. If you go and search also, like I did last time, say that someone should go and read the Wars of the Diadochis. Okay, the Diadochi, these are the successors of Alexander. So there was between the four, okay, they climaxed in 281. Why I say the climax in 281? Because within a space of a year and a half, okay, this is from 283 to 282, 281. Three of the generals, they perish, all of them, because of the revolts. Okay, either assassinated, either in the war, or either at the height, or at the consequences of the wars. All right. So in 281, when I read, this is when I found out of the four generals, three of them eliminated round about the same time. Okay. And if actually you find that this argument is quite reasonable than the one that is used for the three nations of the three European nations, the Vandals, Ostrogoths, and the other nations, because those three, the ones which are said to have been completed in 538 AD, the span between them of how they were uprooted, the span of years is more than 30 years from the first one that began to be uprooted. Okay, now actually it's more than 30 years from the first one, which was first uprooted, which should have been, I think, around 497 AD, somewhere there. Okay, and the other ones in 532, 31, somewhere there. Okay, and the one which it's shoddy, okay, because the actual date should be 536, but then it's pushed to 535, 536, but it's pushed to 538 so that the dates can match. And forgive me for saying that, but then it's an ambiguous date. But what I'm saying, my argument is that these three, which are later on said to have been uprooted, the three European nations, were uprooted over the period of more than 30 years. The ones I'm discussing now, of the generals, you have 1.5 years, 2 years at most to argue, okay? Which is the more suitable time frame to say, yes, the three have been uprooted, okay? And I explained what it means to uproot and leaving a stub, all right? Good. So the calculations. Damn, bang, I just gonna jump into the calculations. Are you serious? Let me see. What else can I discuss? So the calculations is this. The 2,300, so the mathematics, I got your message, okay? So I hope you're listening. That there's another brother of mine. I know people, they communicate, okay? So you communicate, I've brought the mathematics, okay? And I'm discussing mathematics. Yes, mathematics. Yeah, let me say mathematics was my best. This was my best subject. I loved it best. I'm not saying I did best, but I loved it best. Okay. Yeah, though sometimes I had my periods, okay, when I was very good in mathematics. But then the point is this, yeah. The 2,300 days, we subtract 281. Okay. Why would we subtract? Because the time before the AD method, okay, it was reducing from 281, we would go to 280, 279, 278, like that. Okay, so to have this here, it's actually 2,300 plus minus 281. Oh man. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. The thing, the straightforward thing is 2,300 days minus 281. Then you will get 2019. That's a straightforward calculation. It would go to 2019. Okay. Ah, brother, so you are wrong, brother. Okay, listen, there's an issue of year zero. Okay, so by calculation exactly, it is inclusive of that transition from -1, 0, and 1. Okay, that I've read it being explained. Okay, I just know that there is that 0 year. Okay, you need to add it on top. So I added the 0 year on top, and then I came to 2020. Okay, so 2020 would mark the end of the unto 2,300 days. But then in the Jewish calendar, if you follow the Jewish year, the Jewish calendar, which we should, or on which the religious calendar or activities, the moedims of Yeshua, of Yah or Elohim run on, okay, they begin from sometime end of March to beginning of April to the same to the same time the following year. Okay, so this would be the 2,300 year, okay, which would end in 2021 around March, end of March, beginning of April. Round about that time, that's when this year, the 2,300 year, would end. Okay, so when it ends, is it the time when we should expect the coming of the Messiah? No. No. The Bible says, the book of Daniel says that, then the little horn shall be judged. Chapter 7, verse 24. Then the little horn shall be judged. Actually, in chapter 8, it says that he shall be destroyed. The little horn shall be destroyed, not with human hand. So the little horn has to begin to be judged from this time. But specifically, listen to the one that I wrote here, but Daniel chapter 12, verse 11. What does Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 say? Let's read that. Verse 11, Daniel chapter 12, verse 11. What does it say? Verse 11 says, and from the time that the daily sacrifice has been added, just as it was added in Daniel chapter 8, verse 18, okay? And when the daily shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh dissolution set up, 1,290 days shall follow. So when we reach the 2,300 day period or time where the verse has said it is set up, when it says set up, okay, if you go back and check the concordance, Hebrew lexicon concordance, you'd find that when it's set up, when it's completed, or when it's reached, or when it's fulfilled. When we come to that time, okay, what shall happen? 1,290 shall follow. And the verse continues and says, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. So the problem which have happened before is that now I've seen the chart that was presented by the pioneers where this 2000 this time of 1,290 and the 1,335, they were placed before the time when the 2,300 was set up. Okay, so the argument is this: the pioneers, they put these dates 1,290 sometime way back, I think somewhere around 520 something, or AD, somewhere there. Some of the, but then they don't put it after, or they don't put them when the daily and the abomination of dissolution are set up. When they are fulfilled, the 2,300, and the little horn begins to be judged, okay, they shall be from that time a 1,290, and blessed is he who will come to the 1,335 days. This is how it should be understood. This is how it should be understood. This is the Bible. I'm reading text. And I don't know where you guys have found your understanding and how you've come to conclude whatever you conclude. Let's discuss Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 and 12. The 1,290, they come after the 2,300 day period has been fulfilled. Then comes. But the difference is this. The difference is this, okay? The difference is this. Pertaining the 2,300 days, for that time, as Daniel was told, was very, very long. So in the context of the, what would we call it? The one that describes the first word that begins, the one that English is not my best language. Okay, forgive me. Okay, English is not my best, but I try. So they sort of like an adjective. I don't know what would you call it, but sort of like an adjective to describe the time that it was very, very long. I'm taking this to be the reason why I will use a day to a year scale, but I will not use the same a day to a year scale to the counting of Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 and 12, which is the same which is used in verse, is it verse, verse 7. Daniel chapter 12, verse 7, which say, and I heard the men clothed in linen with which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that he shall be for a time, times, and half a time. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. A time and times and half a time. This is a period of 3.5 years. Okay, this is an equivalent of half a week. If you go to the writing of Daniel chapter 9, okay, the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9, which talks of the week, the last week, the week of her Messiah. Okay, so when he is baptized, then we have 3.5 years, his ministry with his disciples. And after him, we have another 3.5 years to the point where persecution begins with Stephen, or the church, or marked by Stephen. Okay, the beginning of strife over the men of God, persecution over those who believed in God. So we have this week period. It is made up of half 3.5 years plus 3.5 years, which is 42 months and 42 months, which is 1,260 days. All these are a same time period. All the 1,260 a time, times and half a time, 42 months. This is the same period. It's the same period. Wherever you find these time frame, they are discussing the same time, and that time happens when the 2,300 days are set up. This is where they begin. Like I showed you on Daniel chapter 12, that this time period begins after the prophecy of the daily and abomination of desolation is set up or is reached, or it has come to its full, then they begin from then onwards. You know what is interesting? Someone I say, no, brother, but you're not discussing Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, because Revelation chapter 12, you know what? It has the times and other time, and it also has 42 months. Brother, I love the word of Yah, okay? So this I already discussed, the Daniel chapter 12, verse 11, okay? Then we come to this guy, this. Can you take a screenshot of this? Can you just take a screenshot? In case we will not have this, at least someone should have it wherever they are, okay? Yeah, don't look at the dates, the specific dates, like 4 March exactly, or 14 September, 14 August. Okay? Don't look at those dates. But the 22 September 2017, that, I love it. I love it. Keep it. Hold it there, okay? That one, hold it there. That is a fact. With me, it's a fact, okay? So if you have come here, now, I'm gonna explain this as I prepare to close. Yeah. Don't tell me. Okay. Technology, voila. These guys, they swapped by themselves, okay? They communicated, then they are running. I was running that up on my PC. Now it's running from my iPad. Okay, thank you. All right, anyway, the one that I want is this, okay? So this is what I want to discuss. This is the holy grail of understanding the 2,300 days. I also included the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9, the 70 weeks. It's there. It's complete. Okay, so let's go. Let's start with the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9. Okay, because that one is clear. It comes and it goes. It passes us. It sounds like this. Okay, the 70 weeks, as you can see from the bottom. So where is my pencil that I can use? Yeah, yes, I know it would then do. Okay, so all right. Okay, so there is this prophecy, this for Daniel chapter 7. Okay, the prophecy of Daniel chapter 7. Okay, as you can see from here, the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9, sorry, the 70 weeks. Okay, so the 70 weeks, all right, here is highlighted here. I haven't seen, okay, I think it's coming, is highlighted here. Okay, they begin from 457 BC, and this has proven to have come to be true. This is the decree by Artaxerxes to rebuild Jerusalem. This was special in the sense that then the rebuilding was not only of the walls, but it had the reinstitution of judges within the city. The governors were put in place, the leadership was put in place. It was more than just the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem and the temple. Okay, so it was a holistic approach. And from this, we calculate the date, and it makes sense because from here, we have 7 weeks. The temple completes its 7 weeks or 49 years. The temple is finished being rebuilt. Okay, and then we have the 62 weeks, the time when we have so much peace. I don't know how much peace was that, because I remember the revolt in AD 2, AD 3, yes, of I've forgotten the rabbi who instigated that civil disobedience from the sanctuary. Okay, but it wasn't not that quiet, but relatively it can be described as being quiet. Okay, so 227 AD, we have the baptism of Yeshua. Okay, we have the baptism of the Messiah in 27 AD, and he gets into his ministry. So Yeshua, when he gets into his ministry at the half of the week, Daniel chapter 9:26, he is cut off, not for himself, but for his people. All right. And the people of the city and the sanctuary shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. The people of the prince shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. I think that was my memory verse my father gave me when I was almost like 7 years old. Yeah, I had it as a kid. So, and from AD, from 31 to this 34 AD is where we find Stephen. He's martyred. Okay, and this marks the end of the 70 weeks. So the 70 weeks in Daniel chapter 9 is here and is complete as it is. All right, unto 2300 is different. If we take the date which I have used, 281 BC, which I said, if take my line of thought and research it over that line of thought. You might choose not to take my date, but I advise you to take it because I came before you, but you come after me, you might have better understanding of the history of the diadoches and where we can find a scenario where we can start counting. Okay, so yes, I accept to be corrected. I will accept to be corrected. The fact is you have to correct me before the prophet gets fulfilled, because then it won't matter anymore. Okay, so from 281 BC, we have the 2,300 days. This is the longest time period where nothing really happens, but we know this thing that the Messiah is cut in between. The Messiah is cut AD 31, is cut off AD 31. And this is what Daniel was given, that the little horn should actually come against the daily. So you want to go to the daily. I promised to do, a presentation on the daily. The daily on its own, what it represented. Don't listen people who say the daily was paganism and papacy. Okay, this paganism and papacy is lack of aptitudeness in study. Okay, that is not correct. That is totally wrong. I've gone to William Miller's writings. I've seen the gentlemen who were opposing William Miller. They were correct in their deliberations, but William Miller wanted what he wanted, and his neck was stiff. He would not listen or be corrected. And they were correcting him for sure. Okay, so the daily does not represent paganism or papacy. It represents the thing that was done in the sanctuary every day that the sun would rise. They would offer a lamp and a bread to go along with it. And this would happen in the morning and in the evening. This was called the daily. Actually, when you read from Exodus chapter 29, he actually says that it is by reason of this continual that I will come into your gates and bless your people. I'll bless the sons of Aaron, and I'll bless the Levites. I will bless your congregations, and I will sanctify your congregations by reason of the continual, the daily. The daily was a thing that they knew, the children of Israel. They knew and were aware of the implication of the daily. This is why you have no idea why Daniel would keep on praying even when there was a decree to die. It was the issue that his prayers marked the times of the daily, and he would not dare miss his prayers. Even this time when it meant his death, he would not miss. It was the daily that was taken away. And Daniel insists on praying on the same time because it meant a lot to him and to the captives. The daily. And what exactly was the day? It was the reason by which Yahweh, their God, would come into their camp and bless them. It was the invitation. It was the daily was the link between Yah and his people. For God to come into the camp of Israel and bless Aaron and his children and the Levites and the sanctuary and the people of the city, to bless them, to sanctify them. It was the reason was the daily. And precisely what they understood the daily to be was the Messiah. The Messiah was the fulfillment of this daily. He is the reason by which we can approach the throne of God. He is the reason by which we can boldly come before the throne of mercy. He is our daily sacrifice, the one that bridges us to the Father, us to Yahweh, to Elohim, is the daily. So Yeshua, HaMessiah, fulfilled the daily. Actually, the argument I have ever raised sometime is that Yeshua did not die the Passover lamb sacrifice. He didn't die that. He didn't die. Jesus didn't die the death of the Passover lamb. No, he didn't die that. No. He died exactly on the time of 3 p.m. when they were the time of the evening sacrifice of the daily. It was the last of the daily in a period of complete 7 years. In a time period of exactly, listen to me, in a time exactly of 3.5 years, he was the last daily to be offered. At 3 p.m., when he died, the lamb, as history you would read, the lamb that was being slaughtered, which was getting ready to be slaughtered on the temple, escaped the moment, and the actual came into play. He died the death of the daily sacrifice. Yeah? This is where you'd find why in the vision he is being told that he comes against the daily. And it was not because of his power. No. It was not because of his power, but it was supposed to be so. But woe unto the men who will make it come to fulfillment. Judas Iscariot did not orchestrate the death of Jesus. one way or the other. Yeshua HaMessiah was going to die. But woe unto him by which this thing is going to come. And the little horn comes into play. It was on his time, and the Roman soldiers in play, taking off the day. Yes, the fact that the Roman armies or soldiers took part in the act is not the conclusion that the little horn was the pagan Rome. No, no, no. Pagan Rome existed in the time of the little horn. Papa Rome exists in the time of the little horn. Okay, the overall picture of the little horn, where they are in play, the little horn takes place. The little horn covers all the time. Okay, because we are want to calculate time, and this is what we have seen here, that in AD 31, the daily is taken away, and by reason of transgression. This is the part which throws away the idea that the abomination of dissolution are the Roman armies. That's not true. The abomination of dissolution, or the transgression of dissolution, came in by reason of disobedience. It came in by reason of disobedience. Not by reason of war, but by reason of disobedience. By the time you see destruction, it means disobedience has come to its full already. Okay? I hope you understand that part. So, yeah, that's other part who could add. But then, let me close with this. Let me explain this last part, okay? This last part. So the 2,300 days come to its time to be set up next year, sometime end of March to beginning of April. The 2,300 days comes to an end. Okay. Yes. The 4th of March, that date I used. There's an article I just read from the NASA website where they say they are expecting a meteoroid, or a meteoroid, okay? What do you call it? An asteroid, okay? An asteroid, sorry. They're expecting an asteroid to hit our planet in the month of March 2021. Go and check them out. Go and check them out. I wonder why they could say they have already they're expecting that, how they've seen it, and they're not discussing it. I wonder, but I have the Bible here that is telling me that by that time, something of great magnitudes above that which we have seen is going to happen and hit this planet. So I'm discussing in something in a space of 8 months to come. Something beyond the science, geography, beyond astrophysics, beyond all that is gonna hit our planet. Oh, should I say that? Maybe it might not come that time, but from that time onwards, there is an expectation of a series of events which cannot be explained, and science and mankind have tried to prep the people's mind to believe that the thing that's going to begin to happen, it will be the reason of human activity on earth. And precisely the accusations shall come based on global warming. Whatever is going to happen is going to be blamed on global warming. And because of this reason, then we shall begin to have restrictions over worship systems. because everybody said, guys, we are going back to worshiping Yah. And in that moment, exactly, you won't be worshiping Elohim, Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah. You won't be worshiping him. You will be worshiping another. Yes, people will be frightened, but you'll be running into the wrong hands. So I've spoken now that you understand the times. When they begin to happen, that you might seek the Lord your God, Elohim, Jehovah. Okay? So, yes, I've told you that's what to expect from next year, March. Okay? From next year, March, that's what you're gonna expect. That's what is to be expected. Oh yeah. Actually, on one of my dreams, I had this picture that I actually went home to find that the whole place was bent out. The whole place was bent out, except as I approached, two accommodations. One, my place, and the other was the one close by, and it was said, that of your brother. And as things stand, it's amazing. It's mind-blowing that the knowledge of these things that are yet to come has already been given. And I'm explaining it. Okay? You have the privilege now to understand, which some people were seeking to shut and sit on it and make people not to hear the truth. Okay? Now you hear the truth. Okay, now you say, brother, what are those dates now? I'm doing the last part. This last part, this is what I'm gonna do. I just need more time and I'll close it. Okay, bear with me. I'll start with this. This 22 September 2017. 22 September 2017. What is this, brother? This is where do I have? This is Revelations chapter 12, verse 1. Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. Do you see that? Now you have it on your screen, okay? Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. There. Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. What does this say? Read it from your Bible. And there was a wonder in the heavens, a woman who was clothed with the sun and the moon, and 12 stars in his head. It was a sign and a wonder in his head. Have you ever heard the story that the captives are the ones who taught the inhabitants of Babylon that a son shall be born in Bethlehem? And those who came from Babylon, who came from the east, they came because the knowledge of the birth of the son and the sign of his coming, they were taught about it. They had been taught about it. Guess by who? I would wonder, but I want to think by the chief magician. You know his name? Daniel. God is judge. They had kept the word. And to those who had believed the star that would come, they saw it. And at the birth of the son, they arrived. Even when the custodians of the Hebraic writings themselves, they were there with the writings, they never knew that unto us a son has been born. They never knew. Yes, the expectance was there. Yes, the expectance was there that anytime the son would be born, but they never really knew exactly the time. But those who came from the east, they came exactly on the time, exactly to the point where they were going. And this is what you have here. This is what you have here. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. I know people, they say now, this brother, the things that you are showing, these are pagan stories and all. Do you understand that the Hebrew children, they were well advanced in the understanding of the secrets of heaven? Do you know that? They were well advanced. They understood the stars and the suns and the moon and the seasons way, way better than what the pagans did. Far way better than what the pagans did. If you want to know, read the book of Enoch. It will show you what some of the things they knew. Okay, the book of Enoch. But however, there are many books which they read, but we don't have them now. Okay, but they knew, they were way advanced, these people. If you follow the history which says that these people were from Africa, the Kemite or Semite, these people were the Greeks. Now we call them the very intelligent. What they took these things down from Egypt, and it is written in their books that the Galileo, the one that we praise so much, he learned mathematics down in Africa. I'm not talking, I'm telling you the facts, okay? They were learned these things. They knew these things. They were the ones who were the custodians of the sciences of heaven. Another book, if you want to read, is by Avi Ben Mordecai. If you just want to see the depth of astronomy in Hebrew or in Judaism, the depth of astronomy there, okay, try and find the book of the book written by Avi Mordecai. Its title is The Science of the Heavens. I think I have. If I can just, where is Avi Ben Mordecai? Where is Avi Ben Mordecai? The signs are here. Okay, this book. Okay, Signs in the Heavens, a Jewish Messianic perspective of the last days and the coming millennium. Avi Ben Mordecai, yo. Okay, you have a brother in me. Okay, I read things, I researched things for you. Then I give just a summary for you to understand that Habakkuk chapter 2 says, the one who have understood the prophecy must begin to run, because there is no more time. Okay, so this is the 22 September 2017. Okay, and you know precisely which date this was. This was the day of the day of trumpets. This was precisely the day of trumpets. Exactly, the day of trumpets is the day when this star was seen. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, the sign that appears in heaven. But what happens from then? It is the birth. It is the birth of a male child. The birth of a male child. I've done this presentation, okay? It's about the child, which child is being born, okay? The birth of a male child. I've done this one. Go and find it. It's very interesting discussion, okay? The birth of a male child. But this birth of male child is going to last how long? How long? How long? How long? A time, times, and half a time. I don't know. I'm telling you, but if you believe me, good. This is going to last a time, times, and half a time. And in this time, they are going to be protected, okay? They will be fleeing. The children will be fleeing. They'll be running to the desert. They are coming out of, the children who are being born are coming out of spiritual Egypt. They are going out to the desert. You get my flow? Yes, you need to go out of those systems. Revelation 11, you need to come out of them and go into the desert, because there is no more refuge where you are. There is no more refuge. I know you are saying, brother, what you are discussing is not true. It's relative, and that is you. But I'm telling you what I'm telling you, beginning 22 September 2017, the birth of a male child has begun, and it's going to last 3.5 years. The 3.5 years, you want to know when it will end? Do you want to know when it will end? The 3.5 years? Exactly at the end of the 2,300 days. Exactly at the end. Is this just coincidence? Is this just coincidence? Is this a mere coincidence? Because they will okay, because they will be given birth to for 3.5 years. And the book of Isaiah chapter 66, it says, can Zion give birth to a male child without birth pangs? Yeah, I am the Lord who have said it, and it shall happen because I have said so. Go and read your Bible. Isaiah 66. Okay? So, yeah. So I come here. So the 22 September, okay? This 22 September is correct. I've lost the link again. All right, but anyway, you can see I cannot put my highlighter back. I want you to link, guys, like what you did before. All right, all right. Okay, so the point is, from the 22 September, you see that just before the end of the 2,300, okay, it's going to take a time, times, and half a time. And when you continue with Revelation chapter 12, it will say that after, okay, when the beast is finished with the woman, this is the time when the beast is eating the woman, it's consuming the woman now. The beast is actually consuming the woman now. You haven't noticed the consolidation, the conglomerate organization being formed of all churches? Yes, it's because the beast is swallowing all the women, and the children of the woman are fleeing out. Okay, and these shall have their 42 months after this abomination of desolation is set up. They are going to have 42 months where they are going to be protected by the earth, for it shall swallow the waters which the beast is going to throw on them. What it shall be, I don't know. Surely, I have no idea. I've never tried to prepare for anything, but one thing that I know, that they are men of exceeding excellence and capability. The messengers of Yahweh, they are men of great excellence and exceeding incapability, their excellence, and what they can do, what one of the angels can do, is beyond your imagination. I'm not worried about the time to come. I'm not worried about the time that is at hand. I'm not. They have taken care of it. They know day one until the 42 months are complete. But this will not be for everyone. This is my fear. This is why I'm discussing this. This position is not for everyone. At least for those who now know their status, they know. This is why you see abrupt and huge decisions are being made, because there are people who know their position. I speak because they are still brothers and sisters who are stuck in the woman who is being absorbed by the beast. The woman who is conforming right now into the image of the beast. And they're still staying put. And I asked a long time ago, what killed the frog? The frog in a pot and the heat was increased. What killed the frog? Because the frog adjusted to the change in temperature. Until when the temperature was too high, the frog could not discern what is life and what is death. And he perished in the pot, thinking that it was summer in that water. He perished, Mr. Frog. That's wisdom. That's a wise saying. I've just finished today. Wise saying. That's a wise saying. And then, then you come to Daniel chapter 12. You see Daniel 12, the one that I've put there, which is saying unto 1,290 and 1,335 days. So those two dates, they mean nothing to someone who's not yet on the program, okay? They mean nothing to those who have not been visited. They mean nothing to you. They would mean something if they mean something if they have been assigned to you. That's the painful part, because the assignment just doesn't begin now. It was way long back. The assignment began. Way back. They knew. And they worked on the people until we get to where we are now. But the point is, if you cry for your life like you have never done before, if you pray for your children and your family, it might make a difference. They might visit you and tell you where you need to change. Now, I have seen some gentlemen who I have been in discussions with. I have seen them. The image that was given to me is that there was one family trying to make it, and yet they were pushing a wagon with a heap of property with them, and they wanted to take their things into the courts of heaven. It was difficult and painful. They wouldn't. The chance is there for my brother and my sister and your family. The chance is there. But your efforts are misguided. If you would listen, I know you have heard me speak and you brush off what I say every time, and you have taken it to yourself to put a competition of words between what I say and what you think I mean. You have to stop it. The issue is not me. The issue is you and your family. Okay? You need to work your salvation. What you have currently is nothing, is garbage. It's rubbish. You need to throw it away. What you think is righteousness now, what you are following and thinking is righteousness, it's rubbish. It's a load that you have put on yourself, and the Lord has not assigned you to do that. And to some, I have seen them running until their legs break. They would not cry for the broken legs. They kept running for fear of the one who was approaching. They ran, and yet they had the privilege to hear the word, and they despised the word thereof. Do you hear what I'm talking? Do you hear what I'm saying? The time has changed. I know the complexity in people's mind is the failure to imagine, to imagine the things that we see, to go outside and see cars, beautiful cars and beautiful buildings, and think, oh, this is coming to naught within a space of a few years. All this will be nothing. The failure to comprehend that has been a reason why many people will not believe. The failure to comprehend that is the reason why many people are not going to believe the witness that is given, the testimony that has been given. I've heard people, they say that, brother, the day shall not be known, can never be known. I've done another presentation before, which talked about the utterances of Yeshua HaMessiah, when he said, for no one knows the day. Now, not even one, but the Father. I love this Hebraic Yeshua, not the Greek Jesus, the Hebraic Yeshua HaMessiah. I love his utterances because he spoke like a Hebrew. And by that, when he says no one knows the day, nor the hour, not even the Son, even the angels of heaven, none except the Father. You know, he gave them exactly, precisely a certain date in the Jewish calendar. There was one date that was described like that. No one knows the day. Not even the Son, or even the angels, except the Father alone. And Yeshua, when he said that, you know what he said? He said, precisely on the day of the Feast of Trumpets shall be the coming of the Son of Messiah, of the Son of Man, the Messiah, Yeshua HaMessiah. It's a break. It's a break. That's what he said. He said a specific date. And then you come and then you say, brother, it is not written like that. This is what? This is English and what? Yeah, it happens. If you have not been called for the wedding feast, for many have been called, but few are chosen. So we have been called, all of us, but a few have been chosen. So if you have not been chosen, you will not understand this point. But still, you can plead. I wish there's one who is saying, brother, I want to plead for my life and my family and my children and my wife. I want to plead for them. Help me pray for that which you have experienced, that which you have seen. Help me. Knock on the heaven's door. No. Not knock on the heaven's door. Help me to open the doors of my heart that I may hear them and walk with them. If there's anyone like that, come to my inbox and let's talk. Come to my WhatsApp number and let's talk. Okay? I have seen the messengers. They have come. I have seen. I know I have my shortcomings. Every day I fall, but I stand up. I have to stand up because I know the expectation is high. The expectation is high. Continue talking your grace and doing what you want to do. Do that to your own predicament. The expectation is high. Thank you. That's my discussion today. The 2,300, when do you begin counting? You begin counting 281, okay? And when you've counted from 281, you know when you should end. Yes, it will end in 221. End of that year is the end of the 2,300 days. But what should begin to happen that time? The little horn is the one that begins to be judged, okay? When he begins to be judged, he is going to make war with the children of the woman, even though the mother of the children will have apostatized. He will come and make war with the children. But the children shall be covered and protected for 42 months, exactly, precisely 3.5 years from that time. Any questions? Observations? Okay, let me just check if there were any if there were any comments here. Do we have any comments? Okay, Brother Bukunye, Richard, yes, brother Joan. Yeah, Richard, actually I found a cheaper way of getting those books. Okay, so I will let you know. I'm going to send some back home. Okay, I'll just buy for delivery back home. All right, so when they do that, then I hope you can I hope then you will have you can get your copies from there. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy. Actually, they are coming in as 4 books. They're coming as 4 volumes. So once I'm done with those, I'm gonna send them back home. All right, and I hope you can make use of them. Help the brothers back home. As for you, I'm not discouraged in my heart. I'm not discouraged in my heart. My heart's with such warmth. It says yes. Okay. So keep holding on, keep reading. Okay. Keep studying. What's going to make a difference now is not what we have been taught somewhere else. It's what we are going to read, what we are going to stand with, what we are going to believe from now onwards. That's what's going to make the difference. Okay. So yeah, shalom, guys. Have a great evening. Okay. Have a great evening, and Yah bless you and your families. Okay. Pray about these things that I've just talked about. We might look at them as nothing. I know many people can pass through these presentations and say, wow, it's one of those guys who is just trying to get recognized. I don't try to get recognized. Okay. I'm doing this because I believe if only one could believe this account, only one, that star would be worth a lot in the kingdom of heaven. If there could be only one, that one star in my name would be worth a lot. So I'll keep doing what I do, hoping that one day some would bump into these things, all right, and gain understanding and wisdom. So yeah, shalom, guys. May Yah bless you, and okay, have a great time. Thank you. What time is it? Wow, I want to rush for my boys. Okay, so good night, guys. See you